News Eye on Agriculture with Britton Rucker.
Kansas farmers had their fair shares of ups and downs this season. We'll check in with one farmer on how harvest is going following both a drought and extreme rain conditions. And we'll check in with the Farm Service Agency on deadlines you need to know. Good evening and welcome to Eye on Agriculture. I'm Britton Rucker. The FDA is asking states to take action to discourage or stop the sale of raw milk to the public. The concern is the exposure and possible transmission of H5N1 bird flu. In an open letter, the agency urged states to issue more stern warnings or consider using regulatory powers to curb the sale of raw milk in areas where dairy cattle have tested positive. Raw milk can carry high levels of the virus because bird flu appears to infect cows through their udders. We've been talking about drought conditions impacting farmers here in Kansas for months now. And just before harvest was set to begin, the state saw heavy rain. 12 News reporter Gabriela Hernandez talked with one farmer about this year's harvest.
John Jansen has been a farmer for his whole life and says severe weather has set back this year's wheat harvest.
Sporadic little storms that came through here did cause some damage.
But fortunately, it was not catastrophic.
2 inches of rain after a fairly sort of dry but intermittent small rain spell was not a disaster.
And with temperatures on the rise comes some urgency.
Breezy, sunny day, when the wheat is dry enough to combine, you can see the urgency of getting this crop in as soon as possible.
Reflecting on years past, Jansen is no stranger to drought.
October of last year, 23, it was really, really dry. We planted wheat in October, November. We also planted some alfalfa earlier that just did not come up, and we declared it a total loss.
Making him thankful for what nature has provided.
Hot, dry wind in late June is a blessing.
While he expects this year's harvest to be better than the last couple of years, the true test is in the numbers.
Weight, moisture, protein. We aim to do the high quality.
East of Newton, Gabriela Hernandez, 12 News.
And as harvest continues, the Kansas Highway Patrol is asking you to be cautious of farmers out and about on the roadways. Many farmers have to use their big rigs to transport their harvest to the grain elevators. Troopers ask that you slow down and pay attention to those farmers as they drive at slower speeds. Senate Republicans released their Farm Bill framework as the deadline to pass a new one approaches. Senator Roger Marshall talked about the highlights of the bill. The proposed framework contains many improvements, including an increase in crop insurance for farmers, increased reference prices for all covered commodities, and no cuts to SNAP benefit nutrition programs. Marshall says the difference between the Republicans and the Democrats' framework is cost.
Our farm bill is completely paid for. We're not asking for any new monies, but the Democrats' farm bill has a request, I think, for $20 or $30 billion more each year. So I'm very proud that we're fiscally on target with this one and put the farm back in farm bill.
Another piece of the Republican framework covers foreign ownership of farmland. Lawmakers are pushing for federal reporting requirements to provide a clearer picture of how much U.S. land foreign entities own. Kansas Attorney General Chris Kobach announces a lawsuit of the Biden administration over a rule that allows temporary farm workers on H-2A visas to unionize. Kobach argues the rule change would allow thousands of foreign migrant farm workers to unionize, while American farm workers cannot. The U.S. Department of Labor argues the H-2A program rule change will expand and clarify the activities the workers must be allowed to perform without fear or intimidation. Still ahead on Eye on Ag, a 2-year-old lab is the first line of defense in protecting California crops. Stay tuned for more on this adorable agriculture expert.